I don't understand. Why doesn't she like me? What did I do to her? Every time I see her, she's rolling her eyes at me, saying something under her breath, talking about me to somebody. How is she hating on me? How is she jealous of me? Why does she dislike me? What did I do? I don't understand. These might be some of the questions that you have had or once had about people who are jealous and hating on you for absolutely no reason. And to top it off, you don't know them. How do you deal with women who are jealous of you and you don't even know them? That is one of the most uncomfortable and awkward situations to be existing in your skin and have a woman that you do not know be jealous of you. Many women are jealous of women that they don't know because of the light that they carry. When you have a person who is jealous or envious of you and you've never spoken to that person, you've never had any close contact with that person, but you might be close enough to where they see you, they know you, they see how you move, but you haven't had interaction with them, those people are normally the ones who are watching you from afar. I hear people saying that, these monitoring spirits and all of that, and I don't like to get into all of that. Number one, because I don't see it written in scripture. But what I can say is that there are many demonic, wicked people who are put off by the light in other people. And I do see that. So when you have negative people, when you have negative energy draining people come into the presence of someone who has light and good positive vibes about themselves, and they carry themselves in a lighthearted way, oftentimes that will make you the target of someone's jealousy, someone's envy, someone's misery, especially when it is a woman. Women sometimes are the absolute worst to one another. And I'm going to go there, especially Black women. We have a tendency to treat each other horribly, and even when we don't know one another. It's not that you have a situation and you just don't like somebody for a reason. The first time meeting somebody, if you've been a Black woman for any length of time, you understand that sometimes going into the presence, especially if you're going into the presence of a group of Black women, you have to have a tough skin, sister. Like, you have to build yourself up enough and build up your confidence to walk into that room, because you really don't know what you're going into, especially if it's women that you don't know. You could be walking into, hey girl, hey, or you could be walking into, yeah, hey, yeah, oh, okay. You could be walking into that. So you really don't know. And what's sad is that I could walk into a room full of Susies and they'll be like, hey, how's it going? How are you? How's everything? Wonderful. Great. Oh, yeah. Come on over. Yeah, I'm going to introduce you to her. Yeah, come on over. Yeah, she's a part of the group too, guys. But we're not like that. All of that for us goes toward the men. Women who are normally, especially us, who are more jealous and envious toward other women that we don't know, we give all of our kiki and happiness and joy to men. And while we are feminine and we love men, we appreciate men, we're kind to them, a woman who can only find herself being kind to a man but can't extend that same kindness to a woman, that is normally a more masculine man, a more masculine woman, and a woman who is dealing with insecurity. When a woman is dealing with insecurity, she will extend grace to a man. She will, be in awe of a man, because there are a lot of women. And while I do believe in the masculine and the feminine and how they complement one another, you have a lot of women who are absolutely male identified. They only find their worth when they're interacting with a man. So they don't really understand how to coexist with other women in a healthy way. So all of her care, concern will be towards a man. Have you ever been in a situation where, something happened in the workplace and you might have been going through something, or a colleague of yours, and she's a woman, and all of the women tend not to really care. They're like, oh, whatever, she'll be all right. But let a man go through that same situation. Oh, they're coming to him. Oh, baby, let me get you some tea. Oh, I'm going to do this for you, do that for you. Nothing wrong with that. But the point I'm making is that women are very, reluctant to offer that same kind of help, that same kind of output to one another, that kind of grace, because of that jealous, envious nature that many women have. So a woman that you don't know being jealous of you, being envious of you, being catty and nasty towards you when you do not know her. Number one, it's because of the light that you carry. Till this day, real story, real situation. I have a woman that I have not spoken to, maybe a hi, bye in passing. And every time she sees me, I don't know how that looked on camera, but she rolls her eyes. You know, one time I was coming right in the door behind her and she just let the door slam right. She saw me coming and she let the door slam. I haven't done anything to this woman. Never. I didn't say a cross word to her, nothing. We had no situation. And every time she sees me working with someone, I'm smiling, talking, and she's like it just gets her gizzards. Like, I don't understand, you know? I'm like, what is that? And bear in mind, we don't care about these things. We don't let these things stop us from existing in our skin. We don't let these things change our character. But I'm making a video and I talk about the observations. And I think women who are under the age of 30, a lot of women, when they're under the age of 30, they still struggle with trying to figure out why they're treated certain ways. Why do women act this way toward me? Because I know, you know, under the age of 25, maybe up until the time I was about 28, 29, I used to let things like that bother me. I used to wonder, what did I do to her? Why is she treating me this way? I didn't do nothing to her. You know, I speak to her. She doesn't even say anything to me. You know, I didn't do anything to her. I used to think that way when I was in my 20s. I would always be wondering why. Like, how could she not like me? I didn't do anything to her. She doesn't have to like me. It doesn't have to be a reason, but it's just weird. And when I began to realize that, number one, everybody is not everybody's cup of tea. And that's just the way it is, be it positive or negative. You have some women who are more lighthearted, more girly, more feminine. And if a woman is more masculine and more of like the bro kind of girl, if she is insecure, she might not want to be around a woman who is more girly girl and doesn't like the things she likes. You know, that's her preference. That's her right. But if you have women who are so miserable to the point that they want to make your existence as miserable as possible, as in bullying you, as in trying to harm you in some way, that is when that becomes a problem. And you see those kind of things typically with women that don't even know you. I remember when I was 17 years old, between the ages of like 16 to 19, I worked at a smoothie shop in the mall. And, you know, I was those ages, you know, 15 to 19 years old. So I was a lot thinner than what I am now. I'm still kind of slim thick, but I was thinner then. And I wore my nice jeans and all of that. I never talked to this girl, but the guys in the mall, you know, they liked me and all that stuff. And I was briefly dating one of the people she worked with at the store that was next to where I worked. And that girl, every time she saw me talking to him, saw me talking to a security guard, saw me talking to any man, she would just be rolling her eyes. I remember one time I was outside the window cleaning the window because, you know, the fruit is displayed and everything in the window. And she walked by and said, them tight A jeans. Who has to wear them tight A jeans to work? And all that kind of stuff. Like signs of a hater, you know? It's like those kind of things, those are real experiences for women. And if you internalize that stuff, and you allow it to affect you into your adulthood, you will very much be a woman who allows the comments and negative things that women have said to you to stop you from being great. And that's what we don't do. Those situations like that, I thank God for that kind of stuff. Number one, because I have a daughter. So I don't like to tell her too much of that stuff. Like, she doesn't know about that story, obviously, because why would I just randomly tell her that? But because of the things that I went through, I am more equipped to tell her just how catty and mean-spirited a lot of women can be, and prepare her in a way that allows her to expect it, but to not be impacted by it. And I think a lot of us, especially as Black women, our mothers coming up, they didn't really prepare us for each other. They didn't prepare us to deal with other women like ourselves, especially in the Black community. And I keep saying that because a lot of what we've been taught to deal with is toxic. A lot of how we've been interacting with one another is toxic. Clowning somebody for wanting to be better in life, that is toxic. Clowning somebody because of their style of dress, because they choose to be more modest and not dress like, a streetwalker, that's toxic. So a lot of the things that we've been taught that are normal are absolutely not. And am I thinking that, with this kind of video that, suddenly women are going to be these kind of persons that are, suddenly we're just sisterhood bound all over the world? Absolutely not. Because the nature of a lot of women is to be a hater, is to be jealous, is to be envious. But when you're dealing with that from people that you don't know, in my opinion, it's simply because of the light that you carry. When you are a woman that has ease and flow, and like I always say, and this is the foundation for me, and I know many others, I hope, when the foundation is God, and you really don't give that much thought to what other people think or what other people say, you're aware. Like, I'm very much aware of the things that I have been through, but because I was prepared for this, because God showed me how it would be, I don't let those things penetrate my heart and my mind. And a lot of women, unfortunately, do. So when you're dealing with a woman who is jealous and envious and negative towards you for no reason, when you haven't done anything to her, it is simply because of the light that you carry. And if you are a woman of influence, if you make an impact in your environment, if people gravitate to you, you have to expect that there's going to be at least one woman who cannot absolutely stand that. And I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. So I'm going to say, in our humanness, of course, if you feel insecure about something and you see somebody getting attention, that's going to make you feel some kind of way. But the issue is when people choose to take out their unfulfilled feelings, their insecurities on another person and try to make their life miserable, that is when it becomes an issue. And as women, as your confidence grows, as you understand your value and your self-worth, and number one, as you get closer to God, I hope, you will begin to recognize these things for what they are and not let it stop you from being who you are. And for many women, they have allowed what other women say, how other women act, to stop them from being in the kind of relationship they want to be in, pursuing the kind of career they want to pursue. Look, some people are afraid to ask for promotions because they're afraid of how their female coworkers want to receive them. I don't want them to think that I'm better than them. I don't want them to think I went behind their back. So many women have blind loyalty to people who would not be loyal to you. I hear this all the time about, I'm always doing this, I'm always doing that for people, and they don't do this. And my question, and it might sound bad, who asked you? See, you have to understand, in the grand scheme of things, a lot of people, most people, are focusing on benefiting themselves. And while I don't live that way, and I don't encourage that you just be so self-absorbed, but you have to understand that at the end of everything, most people, it's always about themselves first. And when you recognize that, you will begin to, number one, seek guidance from God and then make moves. Not worrying about what somebody else thinks, not worrying about how they're going to look at you. It's like back in the day, and this is just a worldly term, they say darned if you do and darned if you don't. And that's really what it is. So as women, if you're dealing with somebody who might not mistreat you, but they have a little attitude towards you, it's clear they don't like you for some reason, let them have it. And most of the time, people who are like that, they're never bold enough to ever really approach you or, really be direct with you. It's just the microaggressions, the passive aggressive behavior. And as women, especially if you're an attractive woman, if you're a kind woman, if you are a woman that's simply existing in her skin, you have to expect that there are going to be jealous women. There are going to be women who are so put off by your light that they just want to see you go away. And you just have to accept that and let them be. And people like that, you know, for me, I pray for them and stay out of the way, because you don't know what demonic weirdness they're dealing with. And I just got this in my mind. I hear oh, they could be having a bad day warriors coming up. Just because somebody's having a bad day, that doesn't give them the right to mistreat someone. That doesn't give them the right to make somebody else's day miserable because their day is miserable. Human beings have a way of trying to justify the unjustifiable. And that kind of logic is the reason why we have had so many mass circumstances, so many unalives, so many lives lost, because people were having a bad day and lacked self-control. So somebody's bad day is not everybody else's problem. If you're having a bad day, stay yourself in the house. That's what I can tell you. But as women, we have to understand that the brighter your light shines, the more you will have people you don't know, be jealous and envious and just don't like you. And you have to be, like I've said in previous videos, you have to be okay with not being liked for absolutely no reason. I'm not saying that you out here starting trouble and, you know, making people not like you. I mean, simply being the kind of person you are and not being liked. Simply being a light in a dark place and not being liked. That's just the way it is. All right. Like and subscribe to this channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.